Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amrutangamaya Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. O Lord, please lead us from unreality to the reality, from ignorance to the knowledge, and from mortality to the immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. Dear devotees, today we are having interesting topic. It is quite interesting, quite hot topic in today's intellectual circle, and also it is quite discussed or even debated. What is the topic? As you all know that. Why spiritual but not religious? Very interesting topic it is actually. But whoever has studied the Vedanta philosophy, whoever studied the Indian philosophy, they feel that it is something strange. There is no difference between spirituality and the religion. Yes, of course, from the Vedantic perspective, it is true. But in the western part of the world, and especially in the United States of America and the Europe, this is true. It is not so. One is the amount of atheists, the people who doesn't believe in God, the people who doesn't believe in the authority of the church is quite increasing, which has become an alarm, a matter of alarm for many of them. And more than that, now there are people, a quite good amount of people, they believe in God, they believe in spirituality, but they don't believe in organized religion. They don't believe in the churchianity or whatnot. It holds good for all the organized religions. Why? Because they say, or how do they define the religion? For them, religion is set of dogmas, set of rituals, set of practices, and set of do's and don'ts and whatnot. Hence, they don't believe in the religion. Moreover, the religious leaders, they ask them to be obedient and accept blindly most of the time. That is one of the reasons they don't accept it or they can't accept it. And also, they give three reasons mainly. Of course, there are many different reasons can be given by people, but all of the reasons, if we can classify into 3 points. What is that? Why they want to get away from the religion, and especially with the organized religion, because of religious hypocrisy. The religious leaders, they say something and they do something. So the religious hypocrisy is one of the reason many want to get away from the organized religion. The second is, in the name of religion, lot of abuse. Even if you see in the Ireland itself, last 20, 30 years, in the history, if you take the history of Ireland, lot of abuse has happened, either woman abuse or the people abuse in the name of religion. That is the reason in the America and in the Europe, mostly they want to get away from this religion. Why? Because in the name of religion, lot of abuse has happened. And also, the third is corruption. In the name of religion, lot of corruptions have happened. So they don't want to be a part of any religion. They don't want to follow any religion. So basically, they think that religion is an anti-element. So we don't want that. It is against our conscience. And if you see, in the olden days itself, or quite from 2, 3 decades, it has become very famous and very powerful movement, especially in the United States of America. There, at least in the recent survey, they say around 30 to 40% of the people, they say we are spiritual but not religious. So the movement in the short form, it is called SBNR, spiritual but not religious. And the recent survey says that one among the five, they belong to this group, that is, they are spiritual, we are spiritual but not religious. And very interestingly, when I was thinking about this topic, Swami Vivekananda, 130 years before itself, he has given these ideas and he has recognized this movement in the West. Probably while he was giving an interview in the London, he makes this very important thing. Many people are getting away from the religion and organized religion. They, they are saying enough of the church, enough of mosque, or enough of temples, or of enough of this organized religion. They want to have the philosophy of life, philosophy for life, or philosophy of life. And they want to have the free thinking, not just based on the faith, blind belief. They want the philosophy based on the reason. For that, Vedanta can be the best base, or Vedanta can be the best philosophy for all of this. Swami Vivekananda, 130 years before itself, he recognized this movement and he said that the Vedanta can be the best base or the best philosophy for all such people. Why? Because in Vedanta or in Indian philosophy, there is no difference between religion and spirituality actually. Only in the Semitic religions, there's a difference between religion and the spirituality. And And if you see, actually, the word religion comes from the Latin word relegre, means to reunite. Means I got separated from the self, I got separated from the spirit, I got separated from the God. So I have to reunite myself with the God. So that's what Vedanta is telling. We are all divine, but unfortunately, we have forgotten our real nature, so we are suffering and we are struggling. So the finite has been seemingly itself split off from the infinite. That's what the one school of philosophy says. That is what in the Indian philosophy, Vishishtadvaita or the qualified monoism says that. And and with these people, like who want to be spiritual but not religious, they say why we don't want religion. Then according to them, why they say that they ascribe to spirituality. What is the difference for them between religion and spirituality? For them, religion is a set of dogmas, rules, regulations, do's and don'ts, going to church, attending masses, and undergoing the ceremonies or whatever. That is what religion for them. And what is spirituality? They say that spirituality means it has something to do with the life, trying to find the meaning and purpose of life. What is the purpose of this life? By doing what really I get meaning. This is what they're understanding. And for them, spirituality means it is sacredness. Spirituality, it is an, I mean, they use the word spirituality with the sacred. So they are both the words are synonyms according to them. And they say that in the spirituality, it is so beautiful and so genuine and it is so profound philosophy. It has got a deeper meaning and it has got a lot of depths, so we can get into it and we can find many things. And as a human being, the spirituality never accepts, never asks you to believe blindly. Rather, you can question, you can rationalize. With a rational thinking, you can believe. And spirituality is something to do with the heart, something to do with the feeling, something to do with the experience. It is not mere blind belief. Or it is not based on the authority, it is based on the experience, based on the rationality. That's why we are spiritual, but not the religious. And 30% of the Americans, as I already said, they are SBNR. They are spiritual, but not religious. So they don't want to go in any traditional religions or any traditional methods, but they're interested in spirituality. They're interested in meditation, they are interested in rationalistic philosophy or whatnot. And many people nowadays they are turning towards Eastern religions like Vedanta or Hinduism or Buddhism or maybe Confucianism or Shintoism or whatnot. That's why Headstorm beautifully he defines that. I am not some kind of cold-hearted atheist, but I am not some kind of moralizing prudish person. Either I am nice, friendly, and spiritual, but not religious. So he gives the reason why I am spiritual but not religious. And very interestingly, this movement in America was founded by Gerald in 1941 itself. And he was influenced by Swami Prabhavanandji, who was the head of the Vedanta Center of Hollywood. He was the head or the minister in charge of the Vivekananda Vedanta Center of Hollywood or Vedanta Center of Hollywood. And this Gerald was influenced by Swami Prabhavanandji. So Gerald learned the Vedanta or few chapters or few lessons of Vedanta under Swami Prabhavanandji. And he started actually college also. He also started college for 6 to 7 years. Out of his own expenses, he ran the college in the by the name of Tobacco College, where they try to discuss different philosophies or different schools of philosophy and spirituality. But for some or other reasons, they were unable to they were unable to run the college. Then he closed the college, but he gave that building or that place to the Vivekananda Vedanta Society of Hollywood. And that place has been renamed as Ramakrishna Monastery in the Tobacco today, which is a branch center of Ramakrishna Vedanta movement. Means he was influenced by Vedanta, so he felt Vedanta can be the strong base or the strong philosophy for to a person can be spiritual. Why? Because Vedanta teaches what? Vedanta teaches that you are divine or I am divine. The goal of it is what? To understand who am I. And this idea, this grand idea, has told time and again by Upanishads. In the recent days, across the globe, Swami Vivekananda represented this beautiful idea by his interesting remarks or epigraphical remarks in his Raja Yoga lecture. What he says? Each soul is potentially divine. Each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest the divinity which is already in man. So the meaning of the life, purpose of the life, the aim of the life, everything has been seen in this Swamiji's statement. So man is not the sinner, where Semitic religions or especially Christianity says, the Vedanta is saying, or Swami Vivekananda is re-echoing the Vedanta philosophy that man is potentially divine. When we use this word divine, it is the science of infinite possibilities. It is with full of positivity. It is with full of assurance. I can do anything and everything. So much capacity, inherent strength is given or can be deduced, can be drawn by this one word called divine. So each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest this divinity which is already in man. Is nothing newly acquiring, it is only manifesting which is already in man. So we are already divine, only we have to manifest it, we have to experience it, we have to release it. We have to realize it. How to do this? Should I go to temple? Should I go to church? Should I go to mosque? Or should I go to some monastery? No. Do it either by work, by action, or by selfless action, or by devotion, that is divine love or bhakti, or do it by psychic control. Psychic control is nothing but here Raja Yoga, that is control of prana, control of mind, control of vrittis. And the fourth is either do it by knowledge, that is the path of knowledge, or Jnana Yoga. Either by one or two or all of this, the goal is to become free. What a grand idea! Each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest the divinity which is already in man, either do by work or by devotion or by psychic control, or by knowledge. Either you do by one or two or all of this, the goal is to be free. The goal is to be free. Free from what? Freedom from what? Freedom from ignorance, freedom from suffering, freedom from afflictions, freedom from anxiety and apprehensions and whatnot. Or the most, or in a one sentence, freedom from this cycle of birth and death, which is called samsara. That's why today everyone is turning towards the Vedanta or the Vedanta philosophy. Vedanta philosophy and the Buddhistic meditation. These are the two things which is becoming very famous all over the world and especially in the Western world. Why? Because it is rational, it is psychological, it doesn't ask to believe blindly. Rather, you can think, and if you find the truth, if you find any gist in that, you can accept it. So for them, spirituality means what? The life which believes in the divinity. When I understand the divinity, when I experience the divinity, what happens? I I attain enlightenment. That is called, that's what it represents, Bodhisattva. The Gautama or Siddhartha is called Buddha. Why? Because he was an enlightened one. What enlightenment? You got thermodynamics or thermophysics or maths or biology? No, nothing of them. He understood who am I, or he understood the supreme truth or the ultimate truth. That's why it's called Buddha. So anyone and everyone can reach that bodhisattva state, the enlightenment state. How it is possible? Understanding oneself, understanding the spirit, understanding the self. That is what the Swami Vivekananda's definition of religion, that is based on Upanishads or based on Vedanta philosophy. But when it comes to Hindu philosophy, when it comes to Indian philosophy, this doesn't go well. Any Eastern philosophies, this doesn't go well, or it is not accepted. Why? Because for them, dharma, the religion, which is a Sanskrit, English translation for the dharma, the religion and the spirituality, both are one and same. They're synonyms for them. Why? How do they define dharma or religion for him? Dharayati iti dharma, which nourishes like a mother's womb and which protects like a father care. That is what dharma. Dharma is the means and dharma is the goal. Dharma is the path and dharma is the goal to be attained in the Eastern religions. So wearing the different religious symbols or going to temple or going to any religious places, worship, this is not the only dharma. It is a one part of dharma, or it is a part of religion. For them, dharma means what? It can be discussed in a different angles, no doubt. For them, it is the means and it is the goal. Means is what? The path which you take to attain the goal. That is what means. We all know that. So that is what dharma. So karma yoga or bhakti yoga or gnana yoga, raja yoga, or any yoga you bring, any spiritual path you take, that is a part of dharma. And the goal, either attaining heaven or self-realization or enlightenment, kaivalya, mukti, nirvana, whatnot, all of them also constitutes are the part of dharma. That's what whatever the we are spiritual but not religious. SBNR movement, which is in USA today, what they define the spirituality, the same idea, the same principle, the same concept we can see in the concept of religion from the Eastern religions point of view, or especially with the Indian point of view. And also Swami Vivekananda, he says that doctrines, dogmas, rituals, books, temples, forms are but secondary details. Each soul is potentially divine. We were seeing that. The second part of that is very important. Doctrines, dogmas, rituals, books, temples, forms are but secondary details. The main thing is that I am divine, and by experiencing, I can become free. That is the reason Vedanta is one of the best philosophy for all of us. By practicing, one can be divine, one can be free person. And when you say that, how is that then Westerns have got a different concept of the idea of dharma religion, and the Eastern people have got different concept on idea religion? Why? Because in India especially, from the point of Upanishads, they define dharma already, which we have seen. They also say that dharma has got different components. This has been explained by Swami Vivekananda beautifully in his Bhakti Yoga lectures. What is that? The dharma, the religion, has got the philosophical portion, philosophical aspect, philosophical side. Like if you say Vedanta, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, whatever exists in this world, everything is that consciousness, everything is self, everything is divine. And similarly, every religion has got philosophy basically. So that is the important point, important part, important aspect of religion. And the philosophy has to be put into practice. For that, we need to do some spiritual practices, penance or spiritual sadhana. So that is what it is also a part of dharma or religion. The third is mythology. This sometimes this philosophy is so, high, or it becomes so abstract. Sometimes it becomes hypothetical even for many of them or many of us. Then the saints and the prophets or the philosophers, they try to explain these philosophical ideas through life stories of the saints or the kings or the queen or the prophets or the incarnations, which is nothing but the mythology or Puranas. That is also an aspect and a side of the religion, a part of the religion. Then this abstract concept of the philosophy, when it comes into the action part, that is called rituals. Then the religion has got social aspect, it has got cultural aspect, it has got political aspect and economical aspect. All put together, actually dharma we can define. But when we take particular aspects of religion and we say this is what dharma is, going to church is a dharma, or going to temple is a dharma, or going to masjid is dharma, or just praying in front of Christ, in praying in front of Allah, or doing namaz, or in praying in front of God, maybe Ramnam or whatnot. That itself is dharma. That is dharma. When you say that, we are narrow downing the concept of dharma. There only the problem comes. In most of the Semitic religions, in the organized religions, they narrowed down the religion, they narrowed down the dharma, and they started interpreting dharma according to their own views, or according to the benefit, according to the necessity. That's how the idea, the explanation about dharma, it got narrowed down, and as a result, it became dogmatic, it became fanatic, and as a result, a lot of bloodshed happened. For example, if you see the documentary on the Crusaders and the Knight Templars, the Crusaders and Knight Templars is nothing but what? It is fighting for Jerusalem. Jerusalem is important, very important place for Jews, for Muslims, and for Christians. So for 8 to 10 centuries, there was a constant holy war. In the name of holy war, 8 to 10 centuries, there was a fight between Muslims and Christians for this Jerusalem, to have a hold on Jerusalem. So when the religion becomes fanatic, when it becomes dogmatic, when the fundamentalism creeps in, that's what it happens. That's why, as a reaction to all of them in the western part of the globe, they said, enough of religion, we want only spirituality. But whereas in India, though these things are there, I don't say no, and especially in the Hindu philosophy or Sanatana Dharma, but that is very, very less actually. And Swami Vivekananda's one more statement, which is the central idea of the Vedanta, the central idea of the Hindu philosophy, is if it is practiced and understood and practiced, then there will be no war, there will be no conflicts, there will be no quarrel between any religions at all. He says, the Christian is not to become a Hindu or a Buddhist, nor is a Hindu or a Buddhist to become a Christian, but each must assimilate the spirit of the others and yet to preserve their individuality and grow according to their own law of growth. What a beautiful. Christian need not to be Hindu or a Buddhist. The Hindu need not to be a Muslim or Christian. And similarly, Muslim need not to be a Christian or Buddhist. Buddhist can need not to be Hindu or Muslim or Christian. Let us understand each other. Let us try to get the best things from each religion. And let us preserve our individuality. Let us assimilate all the best ideas, best philosophy, best thinking from other religions, and let us grow according to our individuality, according to our nature. What a magnanimous idea! What a sublime idea! What a beautiful idea! What a grand idea! Only thing is, we have to understand, we have to accept, we have to appreciate, and we have to put into practice. Then what happens? Then there will be no conflict. Then there will be no war. Then there will be no quarrel in the name of God or in the name of religion. That's why he says, he gives a clarion call through the Chicago's Parliament of Religions in 1893. Help and not fight. Assimilation and not destruction. Harmony and peace, not dissension. What a, again, grand, sublime ideas. Now, coming to this very interesting today's topic, that really, I mean, spiritual but not religious. What are the pros and cons of it? Though it looks very interesting, though it looks very new thing, probably we should try like that. Many people are trying that, either in the Europe and the USA, no doubt. It has got its own plus points or merits, but there are some lacuna also, according to me. Religion without spirituality, what happens? In the most of the organized religions, it happens. Religion without spirituality leads to dogmatism, fanaticism, fundamentalism, bigotry, war, religious war, bloodshed, selfishness, and I mean, quarrel for power and position, name and fame. All these evils will creep in religion without spirituality. At the same time, the spirituality without religion, what happens? It can be very superficial. Again, all these things I'm speaking from the Western point of view. In India, in the Hindu philosophy, in the Vedanta philosophy, there is no difference between the dharma and spirituality, adhyatma. So there is no question for them. So from the Western concept of religion and spirituality, from that angle, I'm making this point, that is spirituality without religion, what happens? There will be superficial understanding. The understanding cannot be deep most of the time with most of the people. Though it cannot be generalized, but that's what it happens. It will be very superficial. Then the second is laziness can creep in. Spirituality without religion, the laziness can creep in. The third is one can become egoistic. These are the drawbacks of spirituality without religion. And the fourth, one more drawback, which I think that is a narcissism. All these things can come into the picture. So then what to do? I mean, I think once I had been in India, I had been to a seminary to give a talk. There were the would-be fathers or would-be monks. So there was I was invited from a seminary where around 100 young novices were sitting. So they had asked me to explain what is Hinduism or the basic tenets of Hinduism, the basic philosophy or the basic tenets of Hinduism. After explaining for 50 to 55 minutes, Q&A started. Then there were different questions about Hindu philosophy or Vedas or Hindu gods and goddesses and whatnot. One young novice got up and he asked a very interesting question. Swamiji, when you explained this whole Vedic philosophy and the Vedanta philosophy, it was very nice. It was a new understanding for all of us where we never were exposed. Wonderful, thank you. Then my question is now, though we all say that really, we need religion, we need God, and we should love each other, etc., etc., why there is a fight in the name of religion? This was the question asked by that young novice. What is the reason? What is the cause for the religious hatred or the religious war? Then I said, look, there is no problem in religion actually. There is no problem in dharma. There is no problem in religion, or there is no problem in God or in spirituality. Then where problem exists, where the problem comes from? I said, when you practice religion, there is no problem at all. But when you use religion, then only all the problem comes. Then he was staring at me. Probably he didn't understand. Then I said, I will give an example. You'll be able to understand my concept or my idea in a better way. What is that? When you love people, you should love people. You should love people and use things. One should love people and you should use things. But today's society, in the pragmatic society, in the consumeristic society, what we are doing? We are loving things and using people. We are supposed to love the people and use the things, but unfortunately, we are using the people and loving the things. So, similarly, when you love God, when you love religion, when you love spirituality, when you practice religion and spirituality, there will be no problem at all. But where the problem comes, where the hatred comes, where the conflicts come, where the bloodshed comes in the name of religion, if you ask me, when you use the religion, all these evils will creep in. When I use the religion or anyone use the religion means using the religion as a weapon, as a tool to fulfilling one's needs, to fulfilling one's selfish needs. So that's why we have to practice religion. We should not use the religion. Then, how the spirituality can bring goodness at the individual level and at the society level. So, what is the spirituality? Spirituality is nothing but understanding oneself. The spirituality comes from spirit. Spirit means self, it is Atman or consciousness or divine, as Vedanta says. The moment when I understand who am I, the moment when I understand my nature, I'll be able to live peacefully in the midst of problems. People may not change in and around me. The situations in the house may not change. I may facing domestic problems. Similarly, I may be facing professional problems in my working place, but still I can live the peaceful life, blissful life by knowing oneself. That's the reason Socrates said, know thyself, which is the panacea of life, or which is the panacea of our life. So this is what the spirituality is trying to tell us, know thyself. And this know thyself can be understood from 2, 3 angles. One is from psychological aspect, if you want me to speak, knowing your strength and knowing your weakness. What is my strength and what is my weakness? If you know, then anyone and everyone will be able to handle our life better. Say, for an example, someone has got the short temper. Many times when we go to different talks and addressing the people and during retreats and some other times, many times people ask, Swamiji, I'm short tempered. Very soon I become angry. What shall I do? Then I say, first you accept it, or first you understand it. The moment you understand that you have got the problem of the short temper, the first progression is achieved. First, can you understand what is your problem? Understanding the problem is the first step. Then recognizing and understanding the problem is the first step. The second is accepting it. I understood that I have got a short temper, which is a drawback of my personality, no doubt. But are you ready to accept? No, the acceptance is very difficult for most of us. We are not able to break that shell. We are not able to break that wall. The moment you accept, half of your problems is solved, and the second progression or the second step of progression is also achieved. Then the third is trying to, by being patient, by loving each other, or by helping each other, by practicing patience, and so on and so forth. One can try to control the anger or the short temper. So similarly, someone has got workaholic, someone is lazy. Someone is doing things very fast, someone is doing things very lazy, very slow and very damn slow. Someone is good at multitasking, someone is good at doing one work at one time, single task. So every nature and every quality has got some strength and some weakness, some positive and negative. One should understand accordingly. They should be able to manage their life. The moment when we know that what is our strength and what is our weakness, then we'll be able to handle our life, our time, our work in a better way, in a more constructive way, in a more pragmatic way. The moment when we do all these things, then what is possible, I will be able to live the life of peace, and at the same time, I'll be able to manage the people. Why? Because also at the same time, I'll be able to recognize other people's strength and weakness. So, example, people who are working in HR, human resources, or management, it is very important for them to understand each colleague or each their friend or their juniors or seniors, what they can do. Accordingly, if they assign a job or assign the task, they'll be very successful, and the resistance also will go down, or resistance will be lessened to the larger extent. So because he or she knows that what is his or her strength and weakness, when he or she can know, and it is easy to know for other strength and weakness, it is easy her or for him to manage others, colleagues, or juniors or seniors. So a lot of frictions, lot of resistance, it can be taken care in the domestic, in the domestic life, or also in the professional life. So know thyself from the psychological angle. One is know your strength and know your weakness. And the spiritual angle, if you ask me, know thyself is knowing oneself, knowing real nature. The moment I understand who am I, it brings a lot of change. How? For example, knowledge is power, knowledge is power, we all know that. The moment Newton discovered the gravitational force, he only discovered, nothing was new actually, it was already existing, he discovered. The moment Newton discovered gravitational force and he explained to the society, and when the world became aware of this gravitational force, there was a big jump, there was a big growth in the science. Similarly, when Sigmund Freud, who is the father of Western philosophy, when he said that mind is unconscious to the larger extent, and he discussed the nature of the mind like id, libido, and he discusses from the three angles or from the three parts, there was again a big difference in the Western part of world. Why? Because of the Sigmund Freud's concept of the mind from the psychology point of view. Afterwards, there are so many different schools of psychologists came. Every 10 years, new school of psychologists have come: positive psychology, behavioral psychology, etc., etc. From that, so many people's problems are solved. Their stress is solved, or de-stressed is possible. And today, neuroscience has so advanced. By medicines also, we can change the chemical compositions, has been accepted and has been proved. And clinically, by meditation, by having a positive life, by having a positive output, how one can change the life, how it can bring the positive effect on one's life, on one's character, one's personality, has been clinically proved. Why? Because of the knowledge of the mind, knowledge of the neurons. So similarly, that's what the Vedanta says. If you think that your body, then your energy is lessened, and your conscience and your understanding and your acceptance and your resistance and your strength and your fear, everything will be at the very lower level. Similarly, when you understand, or when you think that you are a mind, or you feel that you are a mind, then the level of energy is raised, the amount of output is increased from you. And the moment when you understand that you are the self, you are the Atman, what happens? There's infinite energy can be manifested from you. When you see Swami Vivekananda, when you see Buddha, when you see Mahavira, or when you see Ramana Maharshi, when you see all the great people, they were all dynamic energy people. They were the manifestation of energy, manifestation of self-confidence, and the epitome of energy. How was it possible for all of them? Were they came from heavens? No, they were also human beings like us. How was it possible for all of them? Such a energy, such a strong willpower, such a output of work and achievements. How was it possible? Because somewhere that he experienced who are they, what are they in reality. That is what we say: self, or Atman, or Brahman, or consciousness, or Sachidananda, whatever you can say. The moment when I understand who am I, it brings a lot of change in oneself. I give this probably few examples like this. My Gurudev, the 13th president of Ramakrishna Mutt and Mission, Swami Ranganathanji Maharaj. In his 97th birthday, there was a birthday celebration. So many devotees, monks, and novices, brahmacharis, all were assembled and they were celebrating his birthday. One of a monk said, Swamiji, we have got a request. We have got a prayer, or we have got a wish. Oh, is it? Okay, what is that? Swamiji, we would like to, please bless us. We would like to celebrate your centenary. Means we want that you live for 100 years. Then he said, no, it is not possible. Then the whole situation became very grave. That means what? He will not live for 100 years. And that too, this conversation is happening on his birthday in the December. Then everyone became very grave. They started feeling uh, uneasiness. And the person who started this conversation, he started feeling that, why did I broach this subject at all? Then somehow he tried to control himself and said, why, Swamiji, you don't want us to celebrate your 100th birthday? Then Revered Maharaj, very casually, very normally, just like going from one place to another, like someone asks us to please stay today or tomorrow for a few more days. They said, no, no, I have got some work, I have to leave. Like that, very casually we speak. So casually, the Revered Maharaj started saying, no, according to my prarabdha karma or according to my astrology or whatnot, I was supposed to leave till 92 years only. But my master, Sri Ramakrishna, wanted to do some work through this body. That's why he gave 5 years grace period. That 5 years grace period is over. I am 97 now, so I will be leaving. He said in December, and in April he left his mortal coil. Then the devotees asked, or the monks asked, Swamiji, please ask your master, Sri Ramakrishna, that let him give 3 more year grace period so that we would like to celebrate your centenary or birth centenary. Swami Rangnath Tanjit, Reverend Maharaj said, no, it is not possible. It is not my wish, it is his wish. Means his leaving, his life is also Sri Ramakrishna's wish. He is leaving why? Because his chosen deity, his Ishtadevata, his Guru has thought, he wished, that's why he is leaving. He doesn't have any desire even to leave. So this is the state of a Brahmagnani. This is the state of a realized soul, because he was well aware and he had an experience probably that he is a self. He is not the body. Like I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, I am not feelings, I am not emotions, neither I am the intellect, I am the self, I am the Atman. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dati pavakaha, nachainam kleyantyapo, nashoshayati maruta. I mean, the sword cannot pierce it, water cannot wet, fire cannot burn, air cannot dry. Why? Because I am the self, I am the subject, not the object. The moment when this knowledge, we can understand, when we can put into practice, tremendous confidence and tremendous fearlessness, abhi, which Upanishad says, it comes in. I may have some problems in the life. Sometimes I may get profit, sometimes I may get loss. Sometimes situations will be favorable, sometimes situations will be unfavorable. Sometimes I am getting praisings, and sometimes I am blamed for nothing, for no reason. All these dualities are supposed to come and go in our life. But how do you respond? How do you react? How do you accept? It differs from person to person. The moment when we understand who am I, then that is the panacea, that is the ultimate solution, medicine for all of these problems. That's why today, in the whole West especially, the spirituality is taking a widespread, but not the religious. So why we are spiritual, but not the religious? This is the great movement, big movement is happening in the West. But from the Vedanta point of view, there is no difference between spirituality and the religion. That is spirituality and the dharma. May the divine bless all of us and lead us in a right direction so that let us become more and more spiritual and let us understand our real nature. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu.